Hi, I'm Corey. Welcome to Creating with Scraps. Today's JJ 10-minute makes is based on something I saw, I don't know, a year or so ago when paper clips and hidden paper clips were all the rage. And I'm calling them layered paperclip tucks because they do use a paperclip in the construction, and it's a way to tuck things, either in a stacked form like this, or you can turn it sideways and layer them like this. They're very simple to make. You don't need a lot of supplies, and I'm going to show you a couple different options is basically what I'm trying to say. Paper clips. So for this, you will need paper clips. Now, these are the standard large paper clips, not the ginormous ones. These are ones I really love to use, and these are from Daiso. They're a paper clip, and Daiso, for those of you not familiar with it, is kind of like a Japanese version of Dollar Tree. And they offer, and then there's the little itty bitty paper clips that you can also use. They all work. No matter what you have, you can make it work. So you need paper clips. I highly recommend a tab of some sort, especially if you want to use two-sided, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. Doesn't matter which tab punch you use or tab die you use, but I would recommend having one, and I'll show you why. When you can do these one-sided. So for example, this is a one-sided. So I would take this and stick it in a pocket, or let's see if I can find a good spot for it. I don't even know. I didn't plan that part out. Sorry, guys. Let's just say I wanted to put it here. Maybe I'll tuck it inside of a pocket so I can use it just like it is, tuck something under here like vocabulary cards, writing space, journaling cards, whatever I want, and tuck it in a pocket. I can also put that's variation number one. I can also add a clip spot, a hidden layered clip spot to the back, and I can lay it over to a pocket. There's got to be a pocket in here somewhere, or a short page. Oh, here we go. Here's a short page. So I can use the same exact thing, but with a little tuck or a pocket on the back, and lay it over a pocket or the top of a page. And then I've got a tuck spot back here, and then tuck spots here and here. And that, if you're wanting to make that kind, that's why I recommend the tab, because what the tab does is it holds closed the front and back pieces. So a tab of some sort. It can even be a circle punch that you fold in half. It can be a square or a rectangle that you fold in half, but some kind of a tab. So that's the second variation. So variation one has layered paper clips on the front. Variation two also has a paper clip on the back. And then the third variation, let me grab one of these. Here, I'll just grab this one. This is what I would consider a belly band of sorts. So it's plain on the back. You could also use it as a tuck, journaling space, what have you. Let's see. Oh, that matches pretty well. I put it at both ends so that I could wrap it around the page, right? This one's thin paper, so maybe that one wouldn't be my best choice. Maybe some music paper. Okay, here we go. See, so I could do it just like this. Oops. And you can see here, you can do it. You can lay it so that it rests up and you have things tucking up like this. You can flip it around so that you have it going down, but it's just super optional, I guess. And it gives you some choices, which is what I love. Okay, so let me show you how I make these. And again, they take these will take less than 10 minutes once you've made one, even though I've been talking for a while. All right, a couple things to consider. So in addition to your paper clips and your tab of some sort, if you're wanting to go that route, I used eyelets because I like eyelets, but you don't have to. You can use a slot punch or just a circle punch or what have you. Here it is on plain paper, and you can see, and I used just the regular large paper clips. You can see through them, and this is just copy paper, coffee dyed. When it's all said and done, you can see the paper clips through them. So I don't recommend plain paper. Really big, bold pattern paper can work well because it doesn't have a formula. Small pattern paper in a little bit heavier weight, like a cardstock weight, is my preference. These I found work fabulously. These are the Tim Holtz backdrops things, I believe. The patterned one, wallpaper. Maybe he calls it wallpaper. Maybe it's Tim Holtz wallpaper. Anyway, this is the perfect thickness. It's not quite as thick as the actual backdrops, but it's a little bit thicker than a standard copy weight paper, and single-sided paper works great for these. So that's another win. And that's what I did with a couple of these. I used that paper just because it works so well. This paper is 6x6 paper, and it's not ideal. I used the little paper clips with this simply because of how you have to piece it together for 6x6. But if that's what you've got, you can make it work. And I left these two plain to show you. Like, so even though this is thinner paper, it's a 6x6 pad, but it's a little bit thinner. You can see even with the pattern on it, you don't see the paper clip on the front. So keep that in mind as you're choosing. And I used the small paper clips on here. And that's how you stack them. All right, so dimensions. I think this one's like 2 1/4. I think these are 1 3/4. This one's 2. Anywhere between, say, 1 1/2 and 2 1/2 works really well. I haven't tried it any wider than that. So just depending on the size journal you're working in or what you intend to do with it, maybe play with your size that way. So here's another sample. These are both two-sided. So I can tuck these at the top of a page or at the end of a page, right? Here, let me grab this one. So, ooh, my truck's going down. Okay, so using the journals that we'd started earlier, I can put it at the top. It doesn't go all the way down because of how we closed it, but it goes down pretty far. So if you're wanting just a little something at the top, this is a great use for that. Or again, on the top of a pocket. And then you've got tuck spots on both sides. So there you go. Okay. Scoreboard. You will need paper, scoreboard, glue, scissors, your standard supplies, plus the extras that you would need would be paper clips and some kind of a tab punch or a way to tab the top, and eyelets if you choose to use eyelets. All right, so I've got some that are pre-cut, and I did that intentionally to show you that you can make it work with different sizes. And I will show you how to do the single, how to do the double-sided, and how to make the longer one, because there's just a slight difference on each of those. Okay, first, these are my dimensions because I'm going to use, which one am I going to use? I'm going to use some of these large paper clips because most people have those, have access to them. They're good and they're sturdy. Just keep in mind that if you use the smaller ones, you're going to be able to tuck less, and you might want to use a shorter dimension. And if you're going to use ones like I had at Dayso, I used a longer dimension. Instead of the ones I'm giving you now, I added, I think, a 1/2 inch to it to make it fit. But for the sake of what I'm going to do here, I will show you using the dimensions that I used. And I didn't care what size paper I grabbed. I mean, I was a little intentional in that I used the Tim Holtz, that one's icky. I used the Tim Holtz wallpaper ones because I like that weight. But you can add on to shorter ones or longer ones. So let's use this. Okay. I've got 2 strips here intentionally. I can do just the one and have it end up looking like this, or I can use a little bit of this and make the piece on the back, and I'll show you how to do that. Or I can add these two to each other and end up making this. So you use the same essential thing for all 3. All right, scoreboard. This one, what did I cut this out? I think the wallpaper's 5 inches, so I think I cut these at 2 1/2. Yeah, I did. So I cut it at 2 1/2 inches wide, and then now I'm going to turn it on its side, so horizontally. And for these, using the large clips, I'm going to score at 4 places. Well, on this one, 3 places, because I don't know that it'll score at 4. We'll see. So at 2, 3 1/2, 6 1/2, and 8. So I'm going to score it at 2 inches. At 1 1/2 inch wider, longer, 3 1/2, and then a 3 inch gap, 6 1/2. And you can see it's not long enough, so I'm not even going to worry about the 8, and I'll show you how I can fix that. And so you can see on the back there, those are my score lines. And what I want to do is fold it back on itself. So I'm going to fold the top piece down, and then I'm going to lift it back up. And then the second score line, I am going to fold that down, and I just kind of make sure that I'm even on the bottom when I'm folding this over, because you still have a little wiggle room with the score lines. And then I'm going to lift that back up, and then the last one here, I wasn't able to do the 8 inch, but that's okay because we can glue these pieces together and lift that back up. Okay, so it looks just like this. Then I'm going to take the top piece and pull it down like this. So I'm going to kind of fold it in on itself, right? So pattern on top, pattern face to face, and then it'll end up pattern on top, just like that. And then I'll just give it a quick crease. And then if I wanted just that one tuck, I could roll this back and I've got just one paperclip tuck. I would tuck this in. My personal preference is I use the long side of the paperclip down the back of the page. Personal preference only. But if I want to make this longer, this is where I will come, glue this piece on. So if this was an 8.5 by 11, I would be able to get all four of those scores, and I would just keep going with my pattern, my system. You can see there, it's just a little bit off. We can trim that at the end. But I didn't. So what I'm going to do is glue this together to make myself a longer piece of paper. And I'm okay because this is going to be in the back. It's not going to show. Where I've attached these two isn't going to be an issue. And I intentionally started with this so that you can see, even if you don't have the right size paper, you can make it work. So I just put a little bit of glue at the bottom, and then I'm going to lay this extension piece right on top of it. I'll give it a second to glue up, to adhere, right? So my inner dimension, it was, remember, 2, 3.5, 6.5. I've got 3 inches here, 8, right? And now if I'm going to do it like this again, I want the same amount of reveal, if that makes sense. So I need, this piece is my long piece, my fold back on itself piece. So I need the section that I just glued together, I need that to be 3 inches also, because this section is 3 inches. And when I fold it back down, I want that full. So this measurement will be 1.5 so that this can be 3. I guess that's a better way to say it. I want the fold back is 1.5, but the reveal is 3. So if I start from here, this is my score line. I'll put it there so you can see. I want a 1.5 so I get that same amount of distance. Yeah, that's a better way to put it. I'll get the same amount of distance. So you can see that my paper clips, this one's going to be 2 inches, but I'll trim that at the very end. And then they'll all be the same amount of reveal. And so then I want this one at 3, and then another 1.5 inches. So I just kept folding with those dimensions, 2, 3.5, 6.5, 8. With the idea being that the distance between them is 1.5 and 3 inches. I guess that makes most sense. So you can see, you can't see where I glued the two together. Oh, and I didn't line it up perfectly, but that's all right. I can trim it. And now I've got 1, 2, 3 tucks. And now I have this piece at the bottom and this piece at the top to be able to make this belly band style. All right, so this is what it looks like once it's all been scored. I glued it together here. I still did 2 inches for the top piece just to give me some wiggle room, and then 1.5, 3, 1.5, 3, 1.5, 3. Maybe that makes more sense. Then, with it looking just like this, I'm going to take these paper clips and fold it back down, because remember, I'm paper clipping it to make the tuck spot. And I like the longer side down. And with these dimensions, that works better, because when I tuck it over that fold, these long paper clips go just to the 1.5. All right, just like that. And then I'll do the same thing, fold down, and I'm going to put the longer side and back. And you can see it just goes to the edge, and that'll just means whatever, I can put something bigger in there to hold it tight. And then the same thing, put the 1.5, or the shorter side on the inside and the longer side on the outside of my tuck. And so this is what it's going to look like from the front, and this is what it looks like from the back. I have paper clipped those pieces down. And that is going to give me the tuck that I want right here, right here, right here. Now, gluing is, you want to be careful because you don't want to, and it's easy to do, glue this section together because you won't be able to tuck anything. But you can glue, I guess this is one way single-sided paper comes in handy. You can glue single side to single side. And in fact, I'll do that. I'll put a little bit of glue there. All right. And then I'm going to go down. You can see I didn't fold it perfectly straight, but we can fix that at the end. Put a little bit of glue here. Don't need a ton. It really doesn't matter because I'm going to put it back on this and it's going to hold just beautifully. And then I'll do the same thing on the last. The white side or undone side to undone side. Okay. And you can put more glue and you can put a lot and you can, but you don't really need to. And you'll see why in just a moment. Okay. So while that's drying, I'm going to do this because I really do kind of want that to stay. So this is going to be our longer belly band style, and we'll finish that up in a minute. I'm going to put it aside and take the next one. I'll use just this. Okay, this is double-sided, not that it matters, but I'm going to use those 4 dimensions that I gave you because I'm going to use these longer paper clips. If I needed to, I can make it a little shorter or a little longer. And let's move this guy out of the way while he's drying. Okay, somebody always asks in each video, glassboardstudio.com is where I get these really cool magnets and where I got the work surface that I'm using. Glassboardstudio.com. All right, 2, 3.5, 6.5, and 8. Now I'm using the short scoreboard because that's what I have out, but I can just move things along and, I can just move them down and I'll still be able to measure those. So 2, 3.5, 6.5, and then basically I need another 1.5 inches. So at this one, I will line, make sure I can see it. I'll line this up, and I need 1.5 inches more. So I'll put it back. I put it at 1, and I'll score it at 2.5. So that's got all 4 of my scores, and on the back you can see a little bit better, right? Okay. I'm going to fold the same way. I want to fold this down on top of itself. And press. And you can mark it and not use a scoreboard. I just find this scoreboard easy. So if you don't have one, you can still just make marks. And there. Okay, so those are the 4 score lines. And it looks something like this, right? And I'll fold it pattern to pattern. I guess that's a good way to say it. Maybe pattern to pattern. And I'll crease it down and then lift up, pattern to pattern, and lift it up. So that's going to give me this look, right? Now, you can choose at this point if you want to use corner rounders, if you want it to be rounded like this one. Let's say I think I did one of each. Here it is squared off, and here it is rounded. So we didn't round the other one, so let's round this one. It's easiest to round it before you glue or paper clip anything. So I'll do that. Okay, like this. And here you have a 2-inch, and here you have, because of the size of the paper, it's a little bit shorter. Not a big deal. It doesn't have to be identical. That was just having to do with the size of the pattern paper that I printed. I think that's a Tracy Fox pattern paper, like that. Also, if you're going to ink, way easier to ink right now. So I'll just give it a quick dusting around, just around those edges that are going to be paper clipped down. The others I can do later on. But if you're going to ink, now's a good time to ink. Okay, I'll put the 2 paper clips. I'm going to do the same thing. I'll put the 2 paper clips in the back, flip it over. We're pretending this is a white side. Do I have any more paper clips? Long paper clips. I've got to. I've got paper clips. Oh, here we go. There's one. Well, you can see which paper clips are truly metal. There we go. Let's use those 2. Okay. Let's go like that. That gets them out of the way quick. Okay. All right. Just like that. Now I'll put the same thing. If this was white, you would see I'm going to put the long side down, short side tucked in the middle, long side down, just like that, right? And then glue this section and this section together. And this section and this section, basically the white pages together, just like that. And I'll tuck this aside, okay? And we'll go back to finish this one. Now, all I have to do with this is, okay, so you can see I didn't line it up perfectly straight. I can get my straight edge or I can get my paper trimmer, and it's thin enough that you don't have to worry so much about the paper clip getting in the way, right? And then your paper clip's off to the middle. It's roughly centered. And I'll go like that and trim off that edge where I didn't make it as straight as I'd wanted. The other side looks pretty good. So you can see it's easy, quick to do that. Now I want to flip it over and glue a base. And this is why you don't have to worry about gluing these pieces so much. I don't mean these pieces. I mean the white on white. That's why you don't have to worry about them being perfect, because I'm going to glue a base on this. Let's see, it looks like I need a white. And I generally choose, oh, here we go. This is something a little bit thicker, maybe not necessarily cardstock. This is a piece of paper from a mixed media. I had more than I needed. So this is just a leftover bit. Now I'll cut it to this size, right? And put it on the back. Let's see, that is just over 6. And what did I say? This was 2.5. Okay. So I'm going to put this back on. And I trimmed a little bit off, so I'm going to make it a shy 2.5. And I'll glue this in place. And I apologize if it's confusing because I'm going back and forth between the two projects, but I just feel like you do want to give the glue time to be glue. You want it to have time to heal or to hold dry completely. And I'm just kind of randomly putting glue all over the back of this, right? Just like that. And then I'll put this on top and push it down. And then I'll lay it here, and I'll come back to that. I want it to be on there well. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we'll come back to this one. So I now have this single-sided, right? I can just glue a back on right now, and I'm good to go. I can tuck this in my journal. It'll end up looking like this one, single. I just glue a back on, and then I put a top on at the very end, and these two will be essentially the same. This one's a little longer, but no big deal. Same exact idea. It had to do with the size of the paper. It's ready to go. But let's just say I want to make this one a double-sided so that I can tuck this over the top of my page or tuck it into a pocket so that this layer lays down over the pocket or over the top of the page. So the other thing I would have to do or need to do is glue a backing on just like we did on the other piece. But I'm going to show you how to make this back pocket. All right, I am going to glue a piece on, and it can be thin because it's not a writing space. This is just the back. And I do it to protect the paper clips, essentially. What am I doing wrong here? There was a simple reason. Sorry, I'm stopping to think for a minute because I don't want to tell you wrong. Okay, I used shorter paper clips. That's why. These are the shorter paper clips. And so I need this piece to come out. So if you use longer paper clips like I did, you'll want the top paper clip to come out a bit, right? So you can even do it like this. Just tuck it down because we didn't glue it and have it come out. Then, yeah, you want to make sure that top piece is up because that's how you're going to get your clip to come down this way. So I'm going to cover this with, oh, I had 3 pieces of this. Oh, cool. I'm just going to cover this piece up, right, just like this, okay? I can glue from here to here and glue this piece down just like this. In fact, let's just do it. Glue that piece down. You can use a solid color. It doesn't have to be a pattern. It's not going to show. So whatever you want to do on that, it's not going to show. But again, making sure I lift that piece up. Now there's also another way to do it, but this way works just fine. When I did it initially, I did some folds, but I'm not going to do the fold because we don't really need the fold. I want to show you how simple it is. You don't even have to cover it, I suppose, but this just gives you some more stability. All right, and then I'm going to trim it off the same distance or length as this, and that's going to be the background. And I'll trim around that corner because it's easier to round initially. And then I can leave it like that, right? It's ready to go, except that'll show, and that doesn't look so great. This is where this part is kind of fun. Take your extra piece. Don't glue, don't do anything other than just tuck it under, right? Just tuck it under, and then roll it back to where the bottom of the paper clip touches. And then crease, and then glue this piece down here. You've got a little bit of glue at the top, which is completely fine because we're going to have it, it's no matter what, it's going to stop at the top of that paper clip. And then fold it down. And again, I'll give that a second to dry. I want that to dry really well. Waiting, waiting, waiting. I guess I can take this off while this is drying, or while that's drying. And I'll trim this piece off. And if I needed to trim it, like if it wasn't perfectly even here, or if I wasn't happy with the way it lined up, I can do that now. I also, because of this one's going to be the belly band, I want them all about the same. So maybe I'll cut them all to 1.5 inches, and I can easily trim that at this point. So this is 1.5, this is 1.5, this is 1.5, and then this 2-inch one, I'll do the same thing and I'll trim it down, but I want it a tiny bit longer, just like that. All right. Now I punch my holes at the top and the bottom. If I'm going to put in an eyelet, just punch the holes, top and bottom. Add string, add ribbon. Where's the black one? The black one has ribbon in it, I think. Oh, I didn't put it in. Here's a black one that I made, and it has, you can use sari silk, you can use lace, you can use whatever you want, and then I can add it to my journal horizontally or vertically, up or down, whichever way I want to. And that is this piece right here. So that is belly band-ish layered paperclip tuck, way number 1. Now here, that's had enough time to dry. Okay, without adding this little fold over section to the back, that's this one, way 2, right? And here is way 3. So I've got extra on there. I'm just going to trim that off, but it doesn't really matter, I suppose. It doesn't matter. If I take a little bit off the top and I take too much, it's no big deal. Because now, see how I've got that little bit of a gap there where the 2 paper clips meet? That's where I want to put my tab, because it kind of holds it together and you don't see it. So here, let's just take this, and this is one of the journals we're working on. It's going to stick out top a little bit, right? Or if I'm going to put it on a pocket. And then I've got paper clip on this side, and I've got stacked paper clip here. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Well, it's not a big deal because I didn't round these corners. So not a big deal because this is one side of the page and this is another side of the page. But before you glued that down, you would want to fold it in half and then round those corners if you were wanting to round it. Sorry, I should have said that before. And then all I do is grab whichever kind I want. I've used the whale tail for the most of it, and not everybody has the whale tail, so let's use a different one. That's this guy right here. I'm going to ink that because once you glue the edge down, you can't really ink. I mean, it's harder to ink, I should say. It's not that you can't. And then I'm going to put it right here, and I'll glue that. And it kind of meshes or embeds the top. It holds it closed. You don't notice it. It doesn't become an issue. You don't see that little top piece. You don't see that little gap. Marries the two together. I guess that's a good way to put it. Okay. And then I can leave it just like this, or I can add an eyelet, or I can do whatever I want, but it'll fit over the top of my page or the top of my pocket. This is the super thin paper, which is why you can see those little creases. So there you go. There's ways 1, 2, and 3. Now you can see here I added some string or a dangle and a charm just to add a little bit of interest, but you can leave it just plain, like here. You don't need any of those things if you choose not to have it. Love making them. They're a lot of fun. They are super quick, even though this is 30 minutes. But it had to do with all the talking. You can make these probably, realistically, they take me about 5 minutes to make one. And I'm not a speedy crafter at all. And there you go. All right, next, I have had a couple requests from newer folks on how, so I showed at the beginning these quick and easy journals, right? How I do the whole process of putting the whole thing together. So I guess the assembly wasn't clear to some people who may be new to this. Here is the journal that with the card pages, or this the plain pages, paper, right? So there's that one. Here it is with envelopes. I think these aren't envelopes. These are cards. These are the actual cards, right? And how, so the next video will be hopefully quickish on how to put the whole pieces together, how to take the cover, how to take the, whatever type of system you used, whether it was paper bag or cards or envelopes, and how you put these 3 pieces together. I guess 3 pieces, the spine, 4 pieces, the front cover, the back cover, and this bit. They wanted to see that. So I will do that. That'll be a quick video. I'll get to it this weekend. And it works the same way regardless of which style you were using, whichever material you used. Okay, so video part is done. And I had a couple things I wanted to share or say. Tracy Fox from Tracy Fox Creative, one of my favorite people on the planet, recently came out with some stamps that she was doing with a different company, and that company, it kind of fell apart. And so Tracy created her own stamps. Those of you who are on Tracy's team or her channel know that. And they're absolutely incredible stamps. The identification part is really cool because it's in Tracy's husband Jay's handwriting, most of it. And lots of mushrooms, fungi, numbers, labels, blah, blah, blah. She originally, because of some new tariffs and regulations and such, wasn't able to send them to the US, but I found out yesterday, maybe, that she can. So please, I'll link it below. Go to Tracy Fox Creative and purchase these. I guarantee you will not be sorry. They are, I mean, yes, koi mushroom's not my thing. Okay, fine. Don't use the mushroom one, but look at all those incredibly cool little labels and numbers in there. And just fabulous. And then there's a whole identification set, and the variety of sizes from smaller to larger is exceptional. And then this one, the minis, is probably my favorite. There's a background texture, some tags, some little itty bitty numbers, and a variety of botanicals, which is super cool because so you layer this and then maybe you fussy cut your mushroom or you mask it and you put it on top so you can, give it that real foresty feel. So please do check those out. I'm really looking forward to playing with those. I'm not working this weekend at school, so I'm going to do that. The other thing I wanted to share with you is from a sweet lady named Rosalie. She likes to fussy cut. She's got some challenges. She's retired, and she asked that I share this with people. And she asked, actually, she didn't ask that I share it. She asked that I review her skill. Like, do I feel like, personally, that the things that she would offer would be of value to other people? And an absolute yes. So this would be a quote unquote a large package. And she's collected vintage pieces for years. She loves to fussy cut. So she would sell something like this. So it would all be random. I don't know that there would be specific themes. Like, so here, old book page or article from 1931. Pages from the Merchant of Venice. Oh, how cool is that? So a variety of book pages in different languages, different styles, different years. They're all vintage. They're all old. And she would curate that for you. So if you're not able to find them on your own or don't have the interest in going out and finding them, you can purchase them that way. I know there's a lot of shops on Etsy that do it. And I don't know if she's going to do Etsy or eBay. She wanted my feedback, so I'm giving my feedback. Fabulous. I don't know what the cost would be. I don't think she's determined that yet. So she would have things like that. And she would have bits and pieces of things that she has found and added to her collection, which I thought was so cool. Right? So some old vintage pieces. So I'm imagining that she would offer a vintage pieces bit. And huge variety, a little bit of everything, because hello, my grandson Emmerich is E. I call him E or M all the time. So little bits and pieces like that. She would offer some bits and pieces. But the big thing is she wanted to know what I thought about her fussy cuts. And she said the vast majority of her fussy cuts are from books, old books, vintage books, and she fussy cuts them, and she would sell them fussy cut. Now, I know some people don't love to fussy cut, and this might be, I'm not sure which this one was. I didn't pull all of them out. So this looks like maybe a combination of book images and vintage paper and things. Oh, I see. So these are some postcards, a vintage photo. These are actual photos on photo paper. This looks like a postcard or the top of a greeting card. Well, look how beautiful she is. Her name is Anne. I have a good friend, Anne. This would definitely go in an Anne of Green Gables book, all about Anne. So she's got photos and postcards that it looks like would come into play. Oh, well, here's a little cluster she made with some of these images. This one is from 1998, maybe? So vintage, not quite vintage, but certainly not new by any means. So there's those. And then there's the fussy cuts. And here I haven't taken them out because I wanted to show you. I was so impressed with what she did. She fussy cut these herself from books. And it looks like she's inked some of the edges, maybe not. So if you're not an inker, no, maybe not. Would I use these? Absolutely, I'll use these. These are perfect for clusters. You can see she does a beautiful job fussy cutting. She has a bunch, she said, already done. She likes to fussy cut. Now, yes. Would I purchase from her? Yes. Would I recommend these? Yes. If you're a person who doesn't love to fussy cut, I will reach out to her and see what her plan is, and I will share it with you folks. But absolutely, I would purchase these and use these. They are beautifully done. And there's a whole bunch, like I said, lots of botanicals, because there's a lot of books on botanicals and such. But she's got other things as well. Look, you can see here. Oh, some large playing cards. See, I didn't pull everything out because I kind of wanted to share it with you. How cool is that? Right? Some of them she's backed. It looks like the really, really thin ones she's backed. Looks like there's some kind of a texture on there, maybe Mod Podge, or look at those birds. Would I put that on a page? You bet. And there's the eggs. You can see. So there's a huge variety of things. She does a beautiful job. So I will get back to her and tell her that, yes, I would absolutely purchase these. I would recommend these. I would use these. And when I have that information from her, I will share with you whether she went eBay or Etsy or how you can get it. Like, look at that cat. I mean, come on. You can go right on your page. What a beautiful tuck spot. Here we go. See? Great example. If you're a cat person, or even if you're not. I mean, come on. Cat. Let's see. You just tuck it right there on the edge of your page. Glue it, and then you can have a tuck right there. So that's Rosalie. And I will share her information when she decides or lets me know how she plans to sell these. So, okay. I think that's everything for now. It's almost September. School's almost back in. So I'll be here a little less. I am getting better. It's just taking a long time. So thank you for those of you who are asking. I hope you have a fabulous weekend. Take care and happy creating.